Hi, this is Dan Pastorini, and you're listening to The Grilling Truth.
Oh, you're in the freezer. All right, welcome everybody to Week 3 of the NFL Pick'em Show. As you hear, Aaron cannot stop talking even before the show starts. I'm your host, Mike Goodpaster, and of course, the NFL Pick'em Show is brought to you by GridRMO, a new interactive football app where you get to call what you think the football teams you're watching are going to call on offense and defense, and compare it to what everybody else is calling. Aaron probably failed miserably at that last week on the GridRMO app, but let's go ahead and introduce, first up, Aaron Zepnick, who had the worst record of anybody on the Pick'em Show last week. How you doing, Aaron?
Thanks for pointing that out, Mike. I'm glad to be back to redeem myself this week.
Okay, that's what you think. All right, of course, we've got the winner from last week, Brian Schmidt.
Feels good. 2-0, 2 straight weeks. It can only get worse from here. So.
Well, and the thing is, you got like a 2-game lead over us total. So,
as I said, it can only get worse from here. So.
Of course, we've got former Denver Bronco, Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Mark Cooper.
In the house.
In the house. All right. You went to the U, didn't you? All right. We've also got Matt Andruscavage, who last week finished a game behind Brian with myself. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing good. Good to be here. Looking forward to another week. Hoping to take first place this week.
All right. We'll go ahead. We'll start off with Coop. What'd you take away from Week 2 in the NFL?
Boy, a couple teams just absolutely surprised the heck out of me, and the Raiders losing and the Seahawks losing. I just couldn't understand either. You know, and I even said on the show last week how the Rams always played them tough and usually beat them, but I went ahead and stayed with the Seattle Seahawks and got slapped right in the mouth.
All right, Brian?
New England always finds a way to win. That'd be the first thing, losing quarterback, but, best, I think, best coach in the NFL. And the question, where do you put him in history as far as the best coaches in the NFL? Pittsburgh getting a win against Cincinnati. And I think the biggest thing is the horrible officiating in the NFL right now. And it wasn't just the Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game, but you're seeing it.
The other one that got me was the Cleveland game where the guy's just flipping the ball to the official and it comes off
that was amazing.
And my question is, how is a multi-billion-dollar organization in the NFL still dealing and still having part-time employees, because these officials are part-time employees?
Well, because this is the thing, Brian, real quick. It's a lot easier to buy off guys that aren't making much money.
Yeah. I mean, there probably is that, but the NFL's got to do something with that, because it's affecting too many games. It wasn't just the Pittsburgh-Cincinnati game. You saw it in Cleveland. You're seeing it every week, and then something's got to be done, because it makes it a little bit hard to watch sometimes.
Yeah. Aaron?
Well, I'm going to stick to my gut from now on, and I'm not going to pick your Bengals, and I should have stayed with the Minnesota pick. But if Mike McCarthy's not an idiot and picks kicking a field goal to tie the game, make it a 9-minute game, I think we may have a different outcome there. I question that. On the road, you take the points, tie the game.
All right, Matt?
I thought the Saints-Giants was going to be more offense, and I was surprised that both teams actually looked defensive. I was expecting a bit of a shootout there, and we got a defensive struggle. And then you got Buffalo and the Jets expecting a defensive struggle, and you got a shootout practically.
Yeah, and I mean, my problem is still the officials. Not even as a Bengals fan, I thought the Browns were done, maybe the dirtiest of all. But and it comes back to Marvin Lewis. I mean, we get a foot down, we get a knee down, a knee equals 2 feet. They don't even challenge it. I mean, that's Marvin's fault. So in the end, Pittsburgh deserved to win the game because they played better. But I think it's really messed up when you got officials decide games in the NFL. I mean, Tyler Boyd's knee's down. He comes, he gets hit, and then they say they can't tell. I mean, there's a film where the ball is in and he gets knocked out by his knee, which is an absolute joke. Still, it's the Bengals' fault because they didn't play very well the first 3 quarters of the game. They just showed up in the fourth quarter, worked against New York. It didn't necessarily work against Pittsburgh. So we will start off with Mark, Houston at New England.
Boy, with number 4.
You there, Mark? Mark.
I think we lost Mark.
Oh, you know what? You there?
Yeah.
You there? Okay, I got a tough tell there. Patriots.
Hey, you're cutting out again really bad, Mark.
Really?
Yeah. All right, Brian, we'll start off with you at Houston and New England, and then we'll come back to Mark.
Yeah, I'm back. It's the Patriots.
Oh, there we go. All right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You got some interference with the Tin Cup in Colorado tonight?
She's beautiful.
Matt just got the joke. All right.
No, I did. I got it. I was just listening to Mark.
Houston at New England.
Going with me or Mark?
Is Mark there? All right, we'll go with Brian first, and then we'll see if Mark's there when Brian.
I think it's going to be a better, pretty good game. I think it's going to be, but again, even with everything going on with the Patriots, my mind wants me to go with the Texans, but the Patriots always find a way to win. So I'm going to go with the Patriots.
All right, I'm going to go with Houston here. I think Houston is a complete team. I think they're a good team. I don't think New England can get away with another one like that, especially if Jacoby Brissett or whoever his name is playing the game. Brian, Matt, have you seen where Garoppolo's playing or not yet, or did it?
I have not heard that he's ruled out, but I just can't believe he'd be playing. What Aaron? I'll let Aaron share this report, but I don't care who they trot out there. The right side of my brain wants to agree with you, Mike, because I think Houston is more of a complete team right now. I think Osweiler's playing well, and DeAndre Hopkins, and the whole roster looks good. But New England always finds a way. I'm expecting them to pull out every trick in the book, and I'm waiting for Gostkowski to kick a 57-yarder to win the game 13-10. I'm going to go with New England until they don't win.
All right, Aaron?
Well, Matt was referring to, we just got done talking about on our fantasy show, I heard this morning on the radio that the Patriots are considering starting Julian Edelman at quarterback. No joke.
Well, I think he played in the MAC. He was a college quarterback, wasn't he?
He started for 3 years for his college team, yes.
Yeah, so the Cleveland Browns probably would love to have him. But
there's a few teams that actually probably love to have him. But I'm going Texans. Like you said, Mike, I think they're a more complete team right now with the guys they have healthy. If you put Brady and Gronk in this game, I'm picking New England. But with them guys, it doesn't sound like Gronk's going to play again. Who knows who they're going to trot out at quarterback for New England. I'm going with the Texans.
Okay, Coop, you there? Mark?
He did say Patriots. I heard that.
Yep, he did say Patriots.
He did say Patriots?
Yeah,
I'm
sticking with the Patriots.
All right, there he is. All right, next game. We'll start off with Brian, Baltimore at Jacksonville.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Baltimore. They got lucky in Cleveland, but I did not think Jacksonville was very good last week. They kind of had me a little concerned, but I think Baltimore will get this win.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go Baltimore. I think coaching wise, it's John Harbaugh is up there with the best of them. I think Joe Flacco is playing pretty good at the moment, and Jacksonville just doesn't look like they're very good right now. I thought they had a pretty lethargic performance against the Chargers, and I don't know. At this point, I just don't see what they have right now that's going to beat the Ravens. So until they actually do it, I'm just going to go Ravens.
All right, Coop.
Hey, I'm sticking with the Ravens as well. I just don't and the Jaguars, Chargers game was pretty boring to start out with, I guess. Nothing that made me think that either one of those two teams were going to be much this year, but I'm going to stick with Baltimore.
All right, I'm going to go with Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville will play better at home. They played well. They should have beat Green Bay. As Brian brought up before, the officials pretty much stole that game from them, or they'd be 1-1 right now, and Green Bay'd be 0-2.
16 missed calls it was?
Yeah, 16 missed calls, not that many. I mean, heck, it's only like 1 out of every 8 or 9. Aaron, what do you think, Baltimore, Jacksonville?
I'm actually going to go with Jacksonville as well. I think they played bad in the first 2 weeks. They didn't play very well. That offense has to get it going. You got too much talent on that side of the ball, and they're young. They're young on defense. I think they're getting their legs underneath them. Eventually, Bortles, Hearns, Robinson, they're going to get on track. I'm going with Jacksonville at home.
Yeah, remember this, guys. Baltimore had a hard time beating Cleveland at Cleveland. But all right, Aaron, go ahead.
That's what I mean. I think if they have a hard time beating Cleveland, the Packers could be 0-2. You're right, but they're not. They're 1-1. They played arguably one of the best teams in the NFC. Minnesota's got a pretty good defense, and the Packers' defense limited Minnesota to 17 points. Jacksonville beat Cleveland. If the Packers played Cleveland right now, I'm pretty confident they'd beat them by 2 touchdowns. So I just think that I don't think the Ravens are that much better than Cleveland, and I definitely don't think the Ravens are better than the Packers.
I think the Ravens are probably that much better than Cleveland. I think Cleveland just played really well the first half of the game, and then the quarterback gets hurt. But all right, let's go. Aaron, Washington at the Giants.
I'm taking the Giants. I think the defense is for real, and Kirk Cousins has been quite erratic so far, and missed some easy throws last week against Dallas. I'm going Giants at home.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I like the Giants at home. I think the offense will do a little bit more. I don't think Washington's very good right now. Be bad for them to go 0-3, but I think the Giants can pull this out.
All right, Brian.
I'm going with the Giants as well. And when Washington goes 0-3, you're going to probably start hearing some major rumblings in Washington. Because, again, I don't know that, will he make it through the season, I guess is going to be the question.
Are we talking about Cousins or Gruden? Or both?
I think Gruden.
Gruden for sure. I don't think he's going to make it.
I didn't like Gruden when he was with the Bengals, and Andy Dalton was an average at best quarterback when he was here. As soon as he left, he became a lot better than that. I don't think that's a coincidence. Coop, Washington at the Giants.
Yeah, I like the Giants. They beat Seattle. I'm sorry, Seattle. They beat the Saints last week. Not like they killed them or crushed them, and the Redskins played pretty well against the Cowboys. But I just think New York's a just more complete team.
Yeah, and Coop, I think the thing that's impressive about the Giants is the fact that they held New Orleans to 13 points.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter where you do that, Drew Brees is usually a handful to play anywhere. All right, Matt, the Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers.
Well, in Green Bay, I think coming off 2 difficult games, I got to believe Green Bay is going to win this game. I'm going to pick the Packers, but I'm not sure. I think Detroit gives them a game. I don't really think Green Bay's offense is. I think it's relatively the same as what we saw in the second half of last year, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were able to put up a lot of points this week. But I think Detroit gives them a game, but I think Green Bay will end up winning the game.
All right, Coop.
I'm going with Green Bay because they're at home, but I thought Stafford played pretty well last week, even though they lost. But just because they're at home, this for me is kind of a coin flip game. But I'm gonna go ahead and stick with Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Green Bay too. But like you said, it would not surprise me if Detroit goes in there and beats them. I think Green Bay has a lot more problems than a lot of people realize right now. They look real similar to the team that played last year, and if it wasn't for Carson Palmer, Green Bay would have made it to the championship game last year. That's how bad Carson Palmer is. He almost put that Green Bay team in the championship game last year. Aaron?
You got to bring that up. I'm going with the
Carson
Packers
Palmer
at home.
had a cut index finger throughout that playoff run.
Well, he had a cut index finger and vaginal bleeding, so it really hurt him. Aaron?
I'm going with the Packers at home. I think that Sam Shields being out for at least a period of time is going to really exploit the secondary of the Packers. I think Detroit will put up some points, so I hope the offense comes to play this week. And at home, I think they'll be a lot more consistent with making plays. I'm thinking the Packers are a tight one, like 27-23.
All right, Brian?
I agree with everything, Mike, that you're saying. I'm going to go with the Packers, but this is a team that I'm starting not to be very sure about, and so I'm going to go with the Packers, but don't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions win.
All right, our next game. Brian, I'll let you start off because I know you're a big fan of the away team in this game. The Cleveland Browns at the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, and I would love to be able just to.
Hey, I love the Browns as a Bengals fan. You have to love them as a Steelers fans because they very rarely beat us.
That is true. And if I was a Miami fan like Chris Cook, I'd be happy this week too because I think Miami's going to win this one.
Yeah, and I don't think Miami's played bad, especially defensively the first 2 weeks.
No, they haven't played bad, and it's funny, but you see the Browns on the schedule, and you almost look at this as a chance to get right. And look, that first half against the Ravens last week, I mean, really, honestly, for the most part, it was the first quarter. The Browns do that every year. They always have that 1 or 2 games where they come out and it all looks great, and then second half they wither and die. And this is going to be, that last week is going to be another example of that. And this week, I don't think that it'll be, it'll be all that close.
All right, so Brian, you're picking Cleveland in a blowout, right?
I'm picking the Dolphins.
All right,
make sure
Coop?
that is down, Dolphins.
All right, Coop?
Yeah, Dolphins get a win, their first win this week. Cleveland nothing I like about Cleveland at all. So, and the Dolphins been playing pretty good football, even though they haven't been able to put a win in the category there. So they'll get their first win this week.
I'll tell you what I like about Cleveland. I like the orange pants with the jerseys. Don't you? I think they look really sharp.
Yeah, Halloween's coming up too.
Yeah, but they still look sharp. I mean, you got to give them their uniforms look tight now.
Well,
I think
too,
tight means good, but because I hear a lot of kids say it, I don't really know what those uniforms are tight means. But if that's a good thing, they're tight. I'm going to go with Miami also. I think this is going to be like a 28-6 game. I mean, Cleveland's third game, third different quarterback. I think from what I heard from the end of last year to now, they've had 6 straight games with 6 different quarterbacks. Well, yeah. So pretty soon you'll start hearing the Tim Tebow to Cleveland rumors. Matt.
Yeah, Miami's going to win this big. I mean, they don't call Cleveland the factory of sadness for nothing.
I've never heard them called that. Brian, you're a Steelers fan. Have you ever heard them called the factory of sadness?
I've never heard that.
I haven't.
Yeah, that's like apparently that's what the fans are calling their stadium, the factory of sadness.
That's awesome. That's a good name, too. So now they've got a tight name for the stadium and tight pants. That didn't sound right, did it?
Over there.
All right. Aaron, I know you like tight pants on a man. Who are you picking, Cleveland at Miami?
Miami.
If they were playing at the factory of sadness in their new tight pants, would you pick Cleveland then?
No.
All right. Aaron, we're going to start off with you because I know you're never going to pick the Minnesota Vikings against the Carolina Panthers.
No, I'm not. I'm going Cam at home. Carolina's too strong at home.
See, I don't believe that if Minnesota was at full strength, but they're coming off an emotional home win against Green Bay. So I'm going to agree with you and go with Carolina. Brian?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Carolina, even though I desperately want to pick Minnesota, but I got to go with Carolina on this one.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, you pretty much have to play a perfect game in Carolina to beat them. I just don't see it happening. Carolina's real tough at home, so I'll go Cam in Carolina.
All right, Coop.
Yeah, last week, the Panthers had like a kind of a bye week against the Niners, so I'm just going to stick with the Panthers. Sorry, Matt.
All right, Coop. Denver at Cincinnati.
Come on. I want to hear your 5-minute diatribe about how come y'all aren't going to win this game, because you aren't.
Because it's obvious we are going to win the game because we have the better team. You got Trevor Siemian, who sounds like somebody that was in the last Planet of the Apes movie, as one of the leaders as your quarterback.
Oh, here we go.
You got nothing.
All right, my watch is on. Let's go.
You got no offense. And you're going to play a better defense than what you played
yards
this year.
Of offensive rushing this week and 130 rushing last week, and all we got to do is
you had 130 rushing against the Indianapolis Colts, who gave up 130 yards rushing against Indianapolis Ben Davis High School in the preseason. The Indianapolis Colts have no defense. They have no offensive line, and it took 2 defensive touchdowns to beat them.
All right, what's the score going to be? Kind of like last year?
Bengals 27. Broncos 13.
What happened last year?
What happened last year? Last year with our backup quarterback, no Tyler Eifert, no Adam Jones. You guys beat us in overtime in Denver in a game that was fixed.
Here we go. Unbelievable, guys. Are you guys listening to this whining?
It's not whining. How did I whine? You told me to give you reasons why the Bengals. You give me the reasons. Number one, this is the thing.
Come on.
Denver's offensive line.
What do you want, Munster cheese?
Denver's offense. You want reasons, or do you just want to sit there and say that I'm whining? You sound like Hillary freaking Clinton right now.
Are gonna win the game and get over it.
Hillary,
get over it.
Denver's offensive line is terrible. So
Matt,
is the Bengals.
Tell him, Matt. Come on.
Tell him what? I mean, there's no doubt your quarterback is Trevor Siemian. Trevor Siemian. It's hard to say that with a straight face for you, too, Mark.
Hey, the Broncos are going to win the football game, and that's all there is to it.
Give me the reasons.
Why?
Because Mark said so is not a reason, Mark.
Absolutely it is. Because I said it last year, too. And you had that 5-minute diatribe last year, too. So
yeah, and the Bengals were the better team. Do you really believe that if Andy Dalton is on that field with a 17-3 lead, that you guys are getting out there for a win?
Stats like you gave me last year.
You know what? The only reason Denver wins the Super Bowl is because Peyton Manning had to win the Super Bowl.
It was rigged. Hey, guys, there's a conspiracy now.
Well, it's not a conspiracy. There's not a billion-dollar corporation in the world that doesn't care mostly about their books. And how much
let's get on with the picks. The Broncos are going to beat the Bengals, and let's be done with it.
But you still didn't give me a reason why.
Because they're a better football team.
Okay, where are they better at? The Bengals have better running backs. They have better wide receivers. They have a better quarterback.
That's a matter of opinion. What's the opinion?
Oh, my
God, that's a matter of opinion.
The Bengals have a better defensive line.
That's a matter of opinion.
It's not a matter of. Geno Atkins is the best defensive tackle in football.
You guys,
am I correct, Schmidt?
So no. You know y'all are better at scoring field goals because that's all you did last week against the Steelers. 3 points in the first quarter, 3 points in the second quarter, 3 points in the third quarter.
Pittsburgh is a real football team, unlike Denver.
You finally scored. Oh my God!
I'm sorry, but Pittsburgh is a lot better team than Denver, and I'll guarantee you this: when you guys went to Pittsburgh last year, you gave up close. Wait a second, Schmitty. Well, how many points did the Denver Broncos give up to the Pittsburgh Steelers last year?
I believe it was, 40?
Yeah.
Was it in the playoffs? What happened in the playoffs? God, I happened to be at that game, and I think we came out with a win.
The stadium was rocking. You know what? What I'm saying is this. When you played a healthy Pittsburgh Steelers team with Brown and Bell, you gave up 40. When you played them without Brown and Bell, you barely beat them.
They were healthy. We weren't healthy.
Hey, Brian, were the Steelers healthy in the playoffs last year?
No.
Were the Broncos
we don't use that as an excuse for losing the game.
No. But the Broncos were healthy all year.
Thank you very much. Oh, they were not.
Thank you very much for what?
They fell apart.
Who fell apart?
The Broncos in the middle of the season. Ware was out for like 8 weeks. I mean, all kinds of guys were in.
There's a big difference between losing players in the middle of the season and losing them in the playoffs.
Hey, shark tooth, baby. Next tooth up. Next guy up. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, you'll see who the next guy up this week. Hey, let's do a bet then. I mean, if the Bengals beat the Broncos, you got to shave your head. If the Broncos beat the Bengals, I'll shave mine.
Oh, I trust you yeah.
I will shave my head.
Certainly.
I'll put a picture up of me with a shaved head.
I don't. I have to work with clients. Okay.
What's that guy? So now you're making
reason,
fun of bald people?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I make fun of you anyway.
That's
Hey.
Brian's bald. You
win,
know that,
thank
right?
You. Brian, hey.
Aaron's
I'm
bald.
good with that.
You know that, right?
I'm good with that.
But you're making fun of him and calling him retards, basically.
Not only do you make up stats, you just
all right, Aaron, Denver at Cincinnati.
I am going to go with Denver.
Well, you're stupid. Brian, who you got?
Thank you.
I am going with Cincinnati.
There you go. Brian has a brain. Matt, do you have a brain, or are you a dumbass too?
This is so bad.
Honestly, I'm torn on this because I think Denver's defense is good enough to win this game, but
thank you.
The Bengals' defense is just as good, if not better, though.
I just don't know if you guys are at full strength. I don't know about your secondary or your linebackers.
Full strength last year, but we got Andy Dalton.
I think Denver's going to stop them this week.
What was that?
I don't think Simeon's that bad of a quarterback, and I think C.J. Anderson's a pretty good running back.
Yeah, but that offensive line's terrible against Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap.
Yeah, I know. I know your defensive line is good.
Hey, just go ahead and stay with Coop so you don't piss the former NFL player off. Go ahead and pick his team.
Well, it ain't that.
Yeah, it is. Even Coop said that the other day about you. Go ahead.
Oh, no, he didn't. You're just putting words in his mouth. Coop wouldn't say that, right, Coop?
All right, so you got Denver?
Yeah, I'm going to pick Denver.
What a sissy. All right, Matt, Arizona at Buffalo.
I'm going to take Arizona. I think they're the most complete team in the NFC, and not really sure about Buffalo right now, so I'm going to go Buffalo. Or Arizona.
All right, Aaron, are the Arizona Cardinals a more complete team than your Green Bay Packers?
Right now, yes, I would say they are.
All right, I just wanted you to admit that because most Packer fans are really whiny. Who you got, Aaron?
Cardinals.
Brian?
What game are we on? Because y'all have me all confused.
It doesn't matter. Just pick a team.
You guys have me laugh. You guys have me laugh.
Don't worry about it.
Arizona at Buffalo.
Cardinals.
All right.
Put down the Cardinals.
Of course, the Cardinals. That's probably the biggest. I don't know. I mean, that's the easiest pick of the week.
All right. I'm going with the Arizona Cardinals also. All right. Next game, Coop, Oakland at Tennessee, which I think is actually a good matchup now.
Oh, man. You know what? I agree with you, but I went with the Raiders last week thinking, everything they've done in the offseason and everything else, and then they freaking played like they played. But I can't think they could do that 2 weeks in a row, so I'm going with the Raiders.
All right. Now, my question is this, Coop. I mean, is the problem Jack Del Rio? Because he was in Jacksonville for a long time and only 1 or 2 playoff appearances.
No, I like the people they've added. I think the Raiders are. I think they're a better football team than Tennessee.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I think Oakland is better than Tennessee. I think that I'm gonna pick the Raiders. I was surprised that the Falcons played as well as they did on the road against them, but I think the Raiders will start to come together this week.
All right, Brian?
I'm going to go with Oakland, but Oakland has the number 1 offense in the NFL, but they also have the worst-ranked defense. So I'm struggling with this one, but I'm going to go Oakland based on potential, and we all know what happens when you do that. So I'll probably be wrong, but Oakland.
All right, Aaron?
I'm going to go with Oakland as well. I don't have a lot of faith in Tennessee being able to throw the ball. DeMarco Murray looks pretty good, but even in the Minnesota game, I mean, they put up, I think, 10 points. They were up 10-0 and ended up losing 22-10 based on 2 defensive touchdowns. I don't think Oakland's defense is as good as Minnesota's, but I do think that Khalil Mack will get off of the schneid here and get some sacks. So they're going to get after the quarterback, and I think Oakland wins.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Oakland in a close game, but it wouldn't surprise me if Tennessee wins it. I agree with Brian there. All right, the Los Angeles Rams at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I guess I'll go first on this one. I'll take Tampa Bay because I think LA sucks. Coop, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going with my old Tampa Bay Bucks. I think they're a better football team, and the Rams. I don't know how they beat Seattle like they do, but I'm sticking with the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Well, Coop, it was their first game in a new home stadium. That's all I'm going to say. Brian?
Maybe.
I'm going to go with Tampa Bay, and my question is, do you have under on how many quarters it'll take for the Rams to score a touchdown?
Well, I think that if they do not score in this game, they'll be the first team since the 1976 Buccaneers to not score a touchdown in their first 3 games. So that's something to be proud of. Matt? Well, it's still a record. Nobody's done it in 30 years, right? Or that's 40 years. How the hell is 1976 40-some years ago now, Mark?
I'm young. You have to ask yourself.
Yeah. Well, we all know that you're older than me, so you know that when you think 1976 is 40 years ago, it kind of gives you a little bit of a pause, too.
I was in junior high.
Were you in junior high? I was in first grade.
You were in your third year of 6th grade.
I was 27 years old in the 4th grade. You're right. Nobody likes a smart-ass, Mark. It's why I got no friends. Straighten up. Matt.
Yeah, I think Tampa Bay wins this. The Rams, I don't know how they win against Seattle at all, but I don't think they're going to do it this week.
All right, Coop. You already picked this, didn't you?
Yeah.
You want to change your mind
Bucks.
or anything?
Bucks, baby, Bucks.
This is a rematch in a 1979 NFC Championship game that the Rams won 9-0 too. Though I just wanted to bring that up. Does that have any bearing on this, Matt?
I'm not sure if it does.
All right, Coop. Matt, San Francisco 49ers, who don't look completely inept, just pretty inept.
Matt,
at the Seattle Seahawks, who
me.
look pretty inept too.
I know you picked with me, Matt, but I can't.
What was that?
Mike,
I know you picked with me.
Buccaneers game. Aaron.
Oh, well, pick it.
Buccaneers at home.
They already knew that.
I just wanted to point out that I was born in 1976.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
So that just means you're dumber than us because you haven't seen all the things me and Coop have seen.
Means I'm younger.
I mean, in Vietnam, I was alive then. You weren't. All right? You didn't get to, go through the Nixon years like I did from the ages of 1 through 5. So
my daddy was in Vietnam.
Your daddy was in Vietnam? Well, my daddy was in Germany, but he didn't go to Vietnam. But he did get some hellacious bar fights from what he told me because he was a bouncer in Germany while he was in the military. But, Dad, I don't even know why the hell that matters right now, and I don't know why you brought up your dad being in Vietnam. I guess it was because I made a stupid-ass comment about it, but
typical.
Congratulations, you're not as old as us. All right, Matt, San Francisco at Seattle. I'll let you go first with your Niners.
Yeah, I thought I liked the fact, I think I said last week, that if the Niners were in the game last week with 5 minutes to go, that I'd be happy. That is what happened. I was glad about that. I'm kind of hoping for the same thing here. I'm hoping they give them a match, but I think Seattle will win this. I think they'll be able to get after Russell Wilson a little bit, but I just think it's a tall order to ask them to play well enough to beat Seattle at home. So I'll take Seattle. Hopefully it's a close game.
All right, Matt, I'm going to ask you a question real quick. We've got, I cheer for the Bengals. They go to playoffs all the time. The Packers, they go to playoffs all the time. Steelers, Broncos go to playoffs all the time. What's it like to cheer for the team that sucks on here?
Do
you ever get, jealous because we're ripping on each other's teams and nobody really pays attention to the 49ers games?
No. I've come to grips with the fact that it is what it is, and I'm hoping that this year will be the start of a bit of a rebuild.
All right, good luck with that. Coop, San Francisco at Seattle.
Seattle, baby. It's an easy one, Matt. I'm sorry. I know you picked my Broncos, but I can't pick your Niners.
No, I understand.
Sorry. Yep.
Well,
I still love you, brother.
That's how Coop is. All right, Brian.
Seattle, and I wish I could pick the 49ers just to make Matt feel better. But
really, you do? Because I tend to not pick him just to make him feel worse.
Well,
that is true. He does.
That way, though.
I wish we could have had the show a couple
like
years
3
ago,
games in the
but
last 10 years, it seems like. But.
Yeah, well, Seattle will win this, unfortunately for Matt.
All right, Aaron.
Seattle at home.
Now, Aaron, I'm going to ask you something. In school, they always had us go by alphabetical order. Did it suck always being last for everything?
No, because some of my schools were Pollock schools, and they had us go by first name, and I was Aaron.
Oh, so that's perfect then.
I went from the beginning to the end, depending on what school I went to.
I mean, is it all right, Coop? Do you know if it's all right for us to say Pollock on the show? Will we get in trouble?
No, I think you're okay. I mean,
Okay.
you say all that other stupid shit, so you get away with everything.
Hey, you said the bad word, though. I never cuss. You said a bad word.
What?
Coop said a bad word. Did you hear him, Brian?
I heard him.
All right.
Well,
Don't
it's
let that
true.
happen
I'm
again.
sorry. Truth hurts.
Yeah, we'll see how stupid this shit is next Tuesday night at this time when we spent 39 minutes talking about the Bengals kicking the Broncos' ass, and I'm the only one
that's
that's been
catching
talking.
a bass. You just bait them long enough, and they bite.
Yeah. It's kind of like watching Trevor Siemian play quarterback, which nobody wants to do. I'm going with Seattle also, but it would not surprise me if the Niners win this game. I actually do think the Niners are improved. I think defensively they're pretty good. I don't know why Mark makes so much fun of Matt's team. All right, next game. Schmidt, Pittsburgh Steelers at the Philadelphia Eagles.
I think this is going to be a little bit closer game than maybe people give it credit for. And but
so you think the Steelers will be able to hang for a while before they lose?
I think the Steelers will be able to hang for a while before they pull it out and win at the end. 35-20. It'll be 28-20 in the fourth, and they'll get a touchdown at the end.
I really expect the Steelers to blow them out by a couple touchdowns at least. Philadelphia, I mean, people forget. They've beaten the Browns and the Bears.
Right.
So, and Coop, what do you think?
Also, Pittsburgh's coming off obviously, anytime you play the Bengals, Pittsburgh.
No, because Mark already said the Bengals are shitty, so that doesn't count anymore. The fact is you guys are shitty because you barely beat
field goals. They kick great field goals.
Well, the touchdown wasn't bad either.
Finally.
And you guys only scored touchdowns on defense, right?
They're still touchdowns.
Yeah, but you're not going to get them against a real quarterback. You'll get them against Andrew Luck, but you're not getting them against
we just got to clean up red zone and we're fine.
Yeah. Well, you'll have to get to the red zone this week. And Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap will stop that. Aaron Zepnick, Pittsburgh at Philadelphia.
I'm going Pittsburgh. I'm not impressed with the resume of the Eagles so far, and I think Pittsburgh's one of the best teams in the AFC. I think they win like Brian said, 35-20 is a good prediction. I like that.
That's what I said. Brian said it would be close.
I said it would be. I said
he said 35-20. He said it would be 28-20 until the fourth quarter. They'll score a late touchdown.
Brian, I'm sorry. You know me. I hear about half of what you say, and then I zone out if it takes too long. Coop.
Yeah, Pittsburgh. Eagles have played nobody, and I don't particularly think they're much. I think Pittsburgh will be, in the playoffs again as always, and probably, spank them Bengals to get there as always.
Yeah, that'll probably what happened, even though the Bengals won a Division III the last 4 years. Who we got left there? Matt.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. I like Carson Wentz. I think he looks good, but like you said, the Eagles have just
not
played
in the gay way, though, right?
What?
Not in the gay way, though, right? You're talking about football?
Yes. I'm talking about the way he plays quarterback. Thank you for clarifying that.
Shouldn't you
I want to make sure everybody understands
he plays football? All right. I'm just making sure because a lot of people.
Mike, he's talking about his tight end. I mean, he's talking about the way he plays quarterback, not about his tight end.
Oh, it's cute. Exactly. Aaron tried to make a joke. Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead and finish.
So I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. I think Wentz is playing pretty well, but I don't think the Eagles are going to win this game against the Steelers. The Steelers are too good.
All right, Jets at Kansas City. I'll start this one off. I'm going with the Jets. I think offensively they're better than Kansas City. I think defensively they're very good. I think this is a good team overall. Defensive line, they're solid. Decker and Marshall catching the ball, Forte running it. I'm going with the Jets. Coop, what do you think?
You know what? I'm actually going to go with the Jets, too. Kansas City just hasn't done anything to make me think they're going to pull themselves out of They played decently against the Texans last week, but they only really got their game going until the fourth quarter. So, and the Texans played really well. I watched a lot of the game, but still, I think the Jets are a better all-around team, and I just don't know what Kansas City has to do to get back on track.
All right, Aaron.
I'm going with the Jets as well. I think everything that Coop just said is right on track. Kansas City was down to the Chargers for a lot of their game in Week 1 and then lost to Houston. I'm not so sure Kansas City is as good as advertised. I think the Jets will actually win this one probably by 11 to 14 points.
All right, Matt?
Yeah, I like the Jets in this game. Are we sure Brandon Marshall is playing in this game?
Oh, no, I'm never sure about stuff like that. You're supposed to look at that stuff.
Yeah, I know. Just figured I'd ask, but
hey, we're doing it on Tuesday.
Way.
Anything can happen by the time they play anyways, and we're not allowed to change our picks, and I wanted to bring that up to Aaron because, Mark, you may not have saw this on Facebook, but he went on Facebook and tried to change his Vikings pick to the Packers on, Thursday, and then he cried and whined like a little girl when we told him you can't change it. But so in the long run, since we didn't read the rules beforehand, we let him change it from the Vikings to the Packers, which put him in last place. And no, me and Matt made this decision on Thursday or Friday. It wasn't after the game was played. Who am I shitting? It was after the game was played. But that's tough for Aaron. He shouldn't have put it in writing. So from now on, whatever you pick here, you can't change no matter what happens. All right,
I got the rules now.
Brian.
A good host would have explained that before.
Well, a good host, if you had a good host, everything would be great. But you don't. You got a shitty one, as Coop said. So, Brian, what's your pick?
I'm going with the Jets. I just don't like.
Do you think I'm a shitty host, Brian, like Coop does?
No, you're not a shitty host.
Yeah, see, Brian knows I can push the mute button, too. All right, Matt Andruscavage, San Diego at Indianapolis.
Hope it should be a shootout, but I thought that about the Giants-Saints game, so you never know what will happen, but I think this will be a pretty good matchup. I don't like the Colts at all right now. I think the Chargers are playing pretty good ball. I thought they looked pretty good last week. I'm going to go with the Chargers on the road.
All right, Coop?
Wow.
You there, Coop?
I'm going with the Colts.
Well, of course you will, because for some reason you hate Phillip Rivers for no reason.
Well, he's just such a whiner. I mean, he's just like you. I mean, just whine.
What,
whine.
You mean
cry,
a winner?
Cry.
A winner?
So, it's hard to pick a guy like that. So, and Andrew Luck played. I thought Andrew Luck. I mean, he played really well against a defense that was breathing down his throat all day. So I'm going with the Colts on this one.
Yeah, because Detroit's known for their great defense. The problem is this. Detroit's not known for their great defense, but the Colts are known to not be able to block for Andrew Luck and to not play defense for Andrew Luck. So I'm going to take San Diego and Phillip Rivers, who is probably the most underappreciated quarterback of the last 15 years in the NFL. They lose Keenan Allen last week. They lost Danny Woodhead, and he's still putting up points against the team everybody keeps saying is going to be good at some point. I'm going with Phillip Rivers because I also remember Phillip Rivers going in as a wild card and twice knocking off Indy at Indy when they had Peyton Manning and some semblance of a defense and a really good offensive line. So I'm going to go with Phillip Rivers, who I love just because Coop don't like him. Brian.
I am going with San Diego Chargers. I just really don't like this Colts team. I don't think they're very good, and I agree with you. I like Phillip Rivers, and I like the Chargers. I don't think they're going to be a Super Bowl team by any stretch of imagination, but I'm just a big Phillip Rivers fan, so I'm going to go with
See, Coop?
Colts at home.
Brian's almost always right, too, when he agrees with me.
Almost always.
Huh?
But, the one thing is you're 100% right when you agree with me, so.
Yeah. Aaron Zepnick, shit's getting deep. You're up.
Well, it's going to get deeper here because I'm going with the Colts. I think the Colts have played 2 playoff teams so far, and I think San Diego.
The Detroit Lions are a playoff team?
I think they will be a playoff team, absolutely.
So they're better than the Packers.
No, I think that.
But you're telling me right now that the Detroit Lions are going to make the playoffs as a division winner or a wild card?
I think they'll be a 6th seed.
Okay, Coop, what do you think about Aaron's pick of the Detroit Lions to be a definite, guaranteed playoff team?
I'm going to give it to him because he's probably paying a lot more attention to the Lions than I do. Stafford is playing some pretty good football if he stays healthy.
What people don't realize is the last 8 games
Antoine was
last year,
on fire last week too.
The last 8 games of last year with Jim Bob Cooter as the offensive coordinator, the Lions had the best offensive production of anyone in the NFC. They actually, when he took over, Matthew Stafford's stats are better than any quarterback in the league.
Yeah, there you go.
Point?
He's coming on, baby. He's coming on.
They win 6 or 7 games. It's possible they make the 6th seed and beat out Green Bay, but I'm not sure because Minnesota wins that division. Aaron, here's a tough game to pick. The Chicago Bears at the Dallas Cowboys.
Cowboys at home. The Bears are not very good, especially if Cutler's out. Actually, that probably gives them a better chance to win, but I don't think
here we go with the Packer crap again from a guy that loves Brett Favre. Brett Favre is just Jay Cutler, only he had players around him.
No.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he is. I mean, they both do stupid shit constantly. Am I right here, Matt?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Jay Cutler might be pushing it.
That's because Green Bay beat San Francisco like a drum in the playoffs every year back then.
Actually, doesn't have much to do with it. No, you watch. That's in the '90s. You watch Favre. You watch Favre after '97.
Yeah,
he's largely
I'm
Warren
pretty sure
Moon.
the Niners beat the Packers fairly recently in the playoffs too. But Aaron's the kind of guy that's a Packers fan that'll claim that there was nobody any good around Brett Favre.
Aaron, he's putting words in your mouth.
No, I'm not, Aaron.
No, we've had conversations.
We've had this conversation, and he told me that Favre did not have a lot of talent around him.
That's not what I said.
Well, what
I said was he never had the perennial Pro Bowlers for a long period of time. Sterling Sharp played with him for, 2 or 3 years? And then he had Robert Brooks for a couple of years. He had Antonio Freeman, Donald Driver, who were all very good receivers. But he did not have the Duper-Clayton combo like Marino had for years. He did not have
but the guys you just
combo
named were better than Duper and Clayton
Steve Young had
Duper
for
and
years.
Clayton did nothing unless they had Dan Marino.
And Brooks and Freeman did nothing unless they had Favre. I mean,
okay. But you know what? Marino did not have a running game, and Favre did.
Marino had Amon Green for 7 years. He'd have won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Did Matt just drop the mic after that comment?
Amon Green was a really good running back.
He was a great running. He's a borderline Hall of Famer if you look at his stats.
I agree. I never said he wasn't good, but I'm talking. You're looking at the conversation, Mike. You got it so out of context on here. We're talking in reference to Joe Montana and John Elway. John Elway had Tony Dorsett and Vance Johnson and Mark Jackson.
John Elway had Tony Dorsett when he was 57 years old. That was in 1987.
That's 1 year.
Yeah, and he was injured part of that year.
John Elway never had a running game.
My point is
you're Terrell Davis.
You're contorting
No. Terrell Davis
here
was the running game, and that offensive line, you could put anybody behind him, and they rushed.
Oh yeah, in the late '90s. Yeah,
yep.
Late '90s. Yeah, but we're talking about before that. What I think the only 1,000-yard rusher he had was Bobby Humphrey. Huh?
But he was a 1,000-yard rusher.
Who?
Humphrey.
I know. That was in 89 when that
yep.
Super Bowl 24. That's what I said. He was the only one I think they had when they were there, though. I mean, the only reason that Denver got to those Super Bowls was great players like Mark Cooper at guard. There you go, Mark.
Oh, wow. Sucking up big now.
No, I'm not. You were a good player. And Aaron obviously doesn't respect you because he thinks Brett Favre's better than John Elway.
I never said that.
Prove it,
How did
Aaron.
the Cowboys-Bears pick get into this?
I don't know, but I watch a lot of MSNBC and Fox News, so I know that I can just twist this stuff however I want.
I guess.
Okay, Hillary.
And I think a lot of Chicago's problems are Hillary Clinton. But Dallas's are Donald Trump and wanting to build that wall stops their passing game. So, Aaron, you've got Dallas. Coop? So let's just say
Dallas,
everybody's got Dallas, right?
Everybody's got. Is anybody not picking Dallas? That's
no one's going to pick the Bears.
Yeah. I mean, nobody's.
Schmidt,
George Hallis, if he was alive today, wouldn't pick the Bears.
Yeah.
All right, the last game.
Got to go with Dallas.
The last game is more interesting. We've got the Atlanta Falcons at the New Orleans Saints. Aaron.
Saints at home. They're a much better team at home. Drew Brees plays so much better in the Dome than he does anywhere else. I'm going with the Saints at home. Atlanta's going to be an inconsistent team all year, I think.
Yeah, I'm going with the Saints, too, because really Drew Brees reminds me of Brett Favre. But, see, home games would be like regular season games for Brett Favre, and in the playoffs would be the away games for Drew Brees. So I'm going with New Orleans. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, Drew Brees at home. I think this should be a shootout. I got to believe Julio Jones is going to have a game. Mohamed Sanu has been playing well, and they got a running game over there. But I really like the Saints' offense in the Dome, so I'll take the Saints like a 35-31 game.
All right, Coop.
Yeah, I think it's going to be close. But I don't think you're going to beat Drew Brees at home, so that's flat out the bottom line.
Well, Oakland beat him at home.
Yeah, but
and Atlanta just beat
Oakland. Very
Oakland.
rare. Yeah, but that's Drew's on track to win.
Well, I think it's a good game. I think both teams are a threat to maybe slip into a wild card if they can get it together and be consistent.
True.
So, Brian.
I think it'll be a good game, be high scoring, and I think the Saints will pull it out in the end.
All righty. So, we got to this. Our final words. Aaron, do you have any final words on Brett Favre or anything you want to talk about?
I stayed up this late for this.
Yeah. What's your point? It's the most fun you've had in years, probably. You live in Green Bay. What would you do if you weren't doing this? You'd be watching old reruns of The Bachelor with your wife or Dancing with the Stars. Admit it.
No, I think maybe RFD is still on main channels there.
Oh, that was mean. I thought that was if you live in, like, North Carolina or West Virginia.
Yeah, Coop, come on now.
And we know how old Coop is if he's bringing up Mayberry RFD. Which, unless you're at least 50 years old,
but that's what it was like. When we played in Green Bay, we played in Milwaukee one time, and I thought I was in Mayberry RFD. I was looking for Barney and everybody else.
You're not far off.
I'll tell you how bad Green Bay is. I went there last year, and the most sane, non-ugly person I met was Aaron.
Thank you. I take that as a compliment.
You should.
Could be worse. I could be from, like, Indiana or something.
Yeah. Well, see, I tried to pay you a compliment, and you had to be a smart-ass. I mean, just because you're the only one whose knuckles weren't dragging on the ground, not my fault. But he has really short arms, which probably has something to do with it. Brian, you got any final words?
No, I've heard enough tonight. I'm good.
Coop?
You only got one word, 2 words. Go Broncos.
Really?
Oh.
Just 2 words.
Because I have to leave that diatribe for you at the end.
Now, if the Bengals beat the Broncos, you are coming back next week, right?
If a
when
frog
the Bengals beat the Broncos, you will be back next Tuesday night, right?
Absolutely. Just like last year.
Okay. Matt?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. No matter who wins out of the Bengals-Broncos, I'm definitely looking forward to the discussion.
That's what makes it so riveting.
Can we start the show like 2 hours earlier so some of us can get to bed?
We can't because Coop's got stuff to do, and you know what? You're the youngest one here, and the fact that it's 11 o'clock at night in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and you're bitching because you're up too late tells me it's a lot about you. Am I right there, Coop?
Well, I'm just saying because it's going to be like a 2-hour conversation.
Yeah, what's your point? Did we invite you back for next week, Aaron? Did I miss something here?
You wonder why my Packer show can't get listens.
Why is that?
Talk about Packer fans in Wisconsin. Nobody's going to listen to my show if they ever hear you talk.
Oh, so it is true that they're all, like, really weak-willed, and if you say something bad about their team, they cry like little girls?
No, but it doesn't give them an incentive to go and waste their time listening.
Well, I'm not on the Packer show. That's you, buddy.
Yep.
I just figured I'd bring that up. Since you wanted to be mean to me. Tried to attack me. All right, did everybody get their final words? And, Aaron, you can come back next week if you want. But it'll have to be at this time because Coop teaches like a 5- and 6-year-old football team, and he's got practice.
Yeah, 7, 8th graders, and we play up. And
actually, I meant to say 5th and 6th. I didn't mean to say 5- and 6-year-olds. I couldn't remember. But
hey, we won a national title last year in Vegas, baby.
I only missed it by like 1 grade because you move it up 1 at 6 and 7, which some of your kids are 7th graders.
Yep.
So there you go. How's your season going?
Good, undefeated. We went down to the Springs and minute 45 made a comeback after turning the ball over 4 times and won the game. So I was really proud of these guys. They did a great job, great character building game.
And what's the name of the team?
Creek Red Nation.
Creek Red Nation, and you're making fun of people in Green Bay. All right. Is there a nickname for the Creed, or like the Creed? What is it? The Creed Red Nation Warriors or something?
No, just Creek Red Nation.
Oh, well, you need a catchy nickname.
Been around for a long time.
Right, you
need a mascot, Coop. Call them the Broncos.
That's it. There you go.
Call them the Buccaneers. Be proud of everywhere you've been. If the Bengals play the Buccaneers, you don't give me no crap.
No.
I just figured I'd bring that up. But, all right, Matt, any final words?
No, I think I gave mine already.
Okay, I didn't know. It's been so long because Aaron drug on and on about everything. But, all right, we got to get off here so Aaron can get to bed and get his beauty rest. What time do you got to get up in the morning, Aaron?
5 o'clock.
Oh, quit whining then. I usually don't go to bed till like 2 or 3, and I wake up at 6. It's because I got stuff to do. But we'll let it go at that. So, Brian, when are you and Dwight doing the Pittsburgh Steelers show this week?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. So tomorrow night or Thursday night, we'll have the show out. You doing it early tomorrow or in the evening?
In the evening.
All right, guys. So check us out Thursday night for the Pittsburgh Steelers show with Dwight Stone and Brian Schmidt. Coop, when are you doing your first Broncos weekly show?
Oh, no. I'm too busy, man. I'd love to, but I'm just too busy. Coaching these little guys is too
I'm
much
kidding.
fun.
I don't want no Bronco show on this. I used to like the Broncos until you started being mean to me all the time.
Well, you got to, the truth hurts.
Not really, because it's not the truth. We'll see what happens Sunday. This is like bigger than a Super Bowl now. There you go. Whoever loses the game should have to buy a ring for the other one with a picture of the face of the person who won on it.
Oh, boy, we got a civil union happening right here on the GrillingTruth.net.
Aaron, you bringing up the homo stuff again? What did we tell you about that? All right, so also make sure you check out the Notre Dame Weekly Show with former Notre Dame star Tony Hunter, who also played for the Rams and the Bills. He's on with Josh Benjamin. The Inside Boxing Weekly Show just came out, so you can check that out. Out of Left Field, our weekly baseball show with Graham McCown and Chris Fury. Rouge, White, and Blue, the CFL show with Joe Pritchard, Oz Davis. The CFL Pick'em show, me and Brian Schmidt did last night with Oz, and, of course, CFL Hall of Fame quarterback Dieter Brock. Make sure you check that out. So for Matt Andruscavage, Brian Schmidt, Aaron Zepnick, and Mark Cooper, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.